Hey guys, so I thought I would talk about something completely different. Because this company needs to be exposed for who they really are. So why not? I'll try and make it quick. I know I've said this will be quick and then it ends up being like an hour. So I'll try to make it quick. But I and this goes for anyone with, like, if anybody has a disability and they're working with a home care service provider type company type thing, and they're supposed to work with you and help you with cooking and cleaning and things like that. Yeah, you need to keep watch on this stuff because it could get serious. All right, so you're gonna hear a bit of that attitude. So stay till the end. It's gonna be a doozy. So when I first started with them, things seemed okay. Everything, like the manager came to my place and he was all, oh, everything will be great. It's all about what you need, right? It's all about what you want and blah, 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 blah. And, yeah. And yeah, that's of course what they're going to say, right? Then, my first care worker comes and I have her 3 times a week and it's the same one. I didn't mind it, but it made doing errands hard because places were just opening when she would come because it was like that early in the morning. It was so early in the morning. There would have been some places that wouldn't have even been open. Like, I know there's some places that don't even open till 10, right? And she would come at 9. I was like, this is insane. So I had to start looking for another person. She did work well with me in the beginning. And for the first few months, things were going okay. And I had her for quite a while, actually, into the following year. Now, the afternoons, that was a whole different story. By the time the days for the afternoon errands came around, that was where things really took a turn because I struggled because sometimes, okay, I know you can't always have the same person all the time, right? That I can understand. But sometimes it would change quite a bit to where, like, I got somebody that didn't really have very good social skills. I really wouldn't blame the language barrier. You're supposed to have some level of social skills, right? But there are like different people working. Like, it's not just like people from here, born and raised here in Canada or the US or whatever. There are people from many different countries. I think a lot of them, I don't know, there's quite a few people from Africa, there's a few from India, maybe even China. I don't know all, but that's mainly the people they pick is like the immigrants, which is fine. It's fine. But the problem is the people, I really don't think it's just a language barrier. I think they don't speak. I don't know if it's because they're afraid to say too much or if they just have no social skills whatsoever. Like, I would think with the language barrier, you'd want to learn more, so you would try to ask questions, right? Like, what you would want, like, you would try to, you'd practice your English and you'd ask how things are, how you find the weather, stuff like that. They didn't even talk. What do you want to do today? Stuff like that. They're very, they're so nervous and anxious and just, I don't get it. Like, what are they afraid of? Anyway, so I often got people that I wasn't satisfied with when the normal, especially the afternoon person, couldn't come around. So that got problematic. And then came problems all around. You know my beef with religion. A lot of them especially the ones from like Africa, and I think there's even some from like, I don't know how many are from Jamaica, but some of them are from there too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Literally, this woman asked if she could use my internet to watch a service while taking care of her other client that also lives here. Now, I'm actually fine with people wanting to use my internet because I know how problematic data can be. You know, data can be used up quite quickly on some plans, and you can cap it easy sometimes too, depending on what you're doing. So okay, I understand that. But this was like, can I watch a service while I'm looking after my other client? I'm like, my head is like, F to the no. Like, this is not your place. And you are not here for me at that time. So what are you even doing? Like, that was what was going through my head. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't want to come off like a biatch, but I didn't want to, like, so that's where it started. And then there was a whole thing. She was always on the phone, always talking to people, always. Now, one time I let it slide because the one time she was on her phone all the time, it was because somebody had died in her family, and I felt bad. And I had gotten some lamb liver, and it came with kidneys. I didn't want the kidneys. They were still in the freezer. I was even going to give her, I thought about giving her the kidneys because I remember she said she liked that kind of stuff. I didn't end up doing it because we never got time to exchange that kind of stuff, I guess. So at the time, I let it slide, and I probably still would have done it even if I had a little beef with her, because, no pun intended, because I just, I'm not a completely heartless person, but there's just some things I would never let fly anymore. Then the real problem came. The morning person, that stopped happening, okay? Because eventually she was like, okay, there was one thing that I wanted to do myself, and she got upset that I was saying, I want to do this one thing, just so that, and she flipped out and started making it all about her, and started saying stuff like, you don't trust me, you don't blah, blah, blah. I never even said that. And that rubbed me so far the wrong way. I was like, nope, I can't have you back here. I cannot have you back here after all that. Making everything about yourself? No. And she's surprised I'm still upset over that. She actually tried to come back. She wanted to ask me why I, didn't want to see her anymore. After what? It was like it was almost a month or so, I think, that she had left me. And I told the company that I was like, I want her reported. I don't want to get her into trouble. I don't want to fire her or anything, but I just don't want her to come around here anymore because feel I don't feel safe with her or something to that effect. Then she came back and I had to report her because she came back when I asked her not to come back here anymore. I asked even the company. The company said that she wasn't even supposed to come back. And then she just, because she was in the building, right? I was so mad. So mad. The afternoon person suddenly changed in the meantime to this one woman who was basically my age. She was amazing. And if I ever hear from her again, it'll actually be like the most beautiful thing. It'll be like angels came down from heaven to greet me. Because she was amazing and I still love her like to this day, even though I don't see her anymore either. So we finally found somebody that I really liked. What we did was we changed the hours so that I could see her and only her for the next, primarily anyway, for the next few weeks to months. And it was going well. But then she started getting called in, then she started calling in sick a lot more. A lot more. And I believed her because, and I still do, I'm not going to put it against her because I could tell. Whenever she would come and she wasn't feeling very good, you could hear it. All right, you could hear it. It would either be in her nose and she'd have stuff in her lungs, she'd be just down. So I can pick up on vibes, okay? I can. So that was hard because I didn't know what to do because I felt lost. I didn't want to be part of the company anymore because I couldn't deal with her calling in sick so much and then them having to change a whole bunch of stuff. So, constantly too. It became constant to where she could never come hardly. And then, so I was like, you know what? Frig. So I decided to change over to someone else. This person is also... What was bothering me was a lot of them were older people too. This other person was older. The thing with older people, it's not that I have anything against them as a whole, but older people, that could be my mother basically, and they're really starting to struggle with the problems that come with old age. I don't know how they can work full hours. Because my demands were like I had to be with them for quite a bit. And now looking back, I don't think 3 hours was enough time for what I needed done. But what can I say? Anyways, but yeah, and she had so many problems of her own. And I'm not dissing the fact any of these people had problems, but it's just... How can you be expected to work at a company that... And I brought this up to the manager. And he said, well, you're right. We do have a lot of sick staff. I'm like, shouldn't they get screening for that? That was what was going through my head. They shouldn't be sick all the time because how else can you rely on anybody? Whenever... The other girl that was more my age, whenever she was sick, a lot of the times they did have a backup, a secondary, who was also kind of my age. She was almost never able to come either. So whenever the primary wasn't able to come, the secondary wasn't able to come either. So that's when they started switching me over to the older one. And... she was great. We managed to make each other laugh. We had our own, like, she has her own quirks. I have quirks, because I do the curbs. The curbs. There we go. But, like, it's just, I don't know. She started getting sick a lot, too. And it was making it harder to... it was making it harder to trust and this was always a problem with the company as a whole. Whenever someone would call in sick, a lot of the times they would not call me to inform me, because you can't have direct contact with your worker, apparently. What they have to do is they have to call the company, and then the company has to call you. And a lot of the times, that never happens. The communication never happens. The employer might call the company, but then the company might not call you back. It's so annoying. I can't even begin. This happened so more often than you would think. And I heard so many problems with them, apparently. Yep. So, and they're on a very famous show that has been known to expose scams. They've been on a very famous Canadian show that has been known to reveal scams and sketchy companies and whatever. I'll just say that much. Yep. So, I have decided, because of how bad things have gotten, this is how bad the company is as a whole. I called them to ask them. I got sick and tired of it. So I called them to ask them that I did not want anyone to come anymore. That I didn't want to be part of the company anymore. And they said what, a normal company would say. I'm sorry, this is how you feel. I'll call you in a few days to confirm this and stuff like that. Well, guess what never happened? They never called me back. So guess what? This was when I started with my aunt. Wouldn't you believe they send my worker back the next week? That was hard. I literally had to tell her to her face that I could no longer be a part of the company anymore. I literally had to tell her to her face. I had to tell her to her face. So now, I don't know what's been going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're planning on doing, because I still have the papers here that they, didn't take. They're supposed to take those every month or whatever. Every year, however that works. I don't know if it's a year's supply of papers or half a year or what the heck, but anyways, I still have those papers here. No one has called me to confirm or request anything. Yeah, so I don't know what the heck's going on there. My disability caseworker knows about it, though. So, yeah. So hopefully he knows not to pay them back anymore. Yeah. They don't deserve money. They don't deserve my money. None of them do now. Because now, well, I shouldn't say that about the some of the personal support workers I've had, but yeah. And that one girl, if I won't mention names per se, but if you find this video, because you'll know what I'm talking about when you do. I miss you a lot. And because I had you for like a year, and you never judged me. You never did anything. Like, anything that I said, you know, I take full responsibility for if I, you know, because we did kind of get into one little tizzy at one time. Because I won't explain really, but it made me freak out. So I, you know, my mind just, I didn't say the right thing. But she also has this thing too where just because somebody decides to, let's say, somebody says something about, how come she didn't do this or how come she didn't do that? She takes it like, well, I guess that person doesn't like me. I'm like, no, that's not what they were saying. Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, but I still love the woman a lot. Now, it wouldn't be love as in, you know. But it's love like deep, deep friendship, almost kind of a sisterly love. You know what I mean? It was like she's like the sister. I have two kind of, I call them spiritual sisters. I have two of them now. She was one of the sisters I never had. She would be my younger sister if she were to be my sister. And she was amazing. I had her for a full year. You know how long I had that other one that was supposed to be the secondary? Maybe a month and a half. I don't know. Barely ever saw her. So, yeah. Anyway. So, guys, make sure to ask questions. Keep on top of these things. You guys don't know. Do investigations. I learned my lesson. Do investigations on these personal support worker type companies. Do investigations. You do not want to get into trouble with this stuff. Okay? You do not want to be one of those ones that's left out in the cold all because somebody decides not to communicate to you. And you know what? You know what? I've also heard stories about them, the clients, calling the company and being like, oh, I'm not going to be home on such and such a day. And then the worker isn't informed of that, and then they come over and they find out last minute that the client isn't there. So it's gone both ways before. It's insane. It's insane. So please, guys, do your investigations. Do them. If you ever end up in a situation where you need a homes like a support worker or whatever, do investigations on the company before you even start with them, before you even think about signing up. I probably wouldn't be with them if I'd found that out. I certainly don't regret meeting that one person, though. I don't regret it. Don't regret it at all. If I could ever see her again, I would. I wouldn't even, look. I don't hold anything against her, really. I don't. It wasn't her fault, that she ended up in the situation she did. It was just, my mental health came first, and the way that the company wasn't really dealing well with the fact, like they were getting mad at her, and I was getting frustrated with just how the company was handling it. So it's more the company, it's the company I'm mad at. I'm not mad at her directly because it wasn't her fault that the things happened the way they did. But I just needed to focus on my mental health, and I wanted someone that I could rely on a little bit more. You know what I mean? Well, that didn't really turn out, though, did it? She couldn't do everything. She can't really do anything. The older one, she couldn't do anything. I'm surprised she was able to stand there for half an hour and do my meat because she could barely, like, she had so many problems. Oh my Lord. That make it harder for her to stand, to walk around, to be around dust, to be, like, everything has to be perfect with her. Like the environment, that is, not her, but like, you know. Oh my gosh. It was exhausting. Like, I couldn't bear having workers that were sicker than me. So you guys need to look into these companies, okay? You don't know how things go. Maybe if you know somebody that also works with them, like as a client, ask them, how have you had success with this company or not? There was one of the guys that used to live here. Almost no one ever came to clean his place up and you know, do all that jazz. Almost no one ever came. No one ever came, really. I think maybe once in a blue moon. And it got messy. And he was lazy, so... And he was with that company, too. Anyways, that is it for this video. A little bit of a different video today. I just wanted to put that out there. And I'll see you for another reaction. And I think I figured out why it was acting like that. I'm having problems with the controls now on YouTube. It's just... I couldn't even find the full screen button. Like, I think now what I have to do is if I want to put it in full screen, I have to pause the video when it starts, then pause, like, yeah, pause it just after it starts, then scroll down. I don't know what the problem with it is now, but I'm gonna try and see if that helps maybe, and then we'll react to another video. Okay, guys? Yeah. So, later, guys. Garbs!